Afghanistan, Land of the Afghans, is a modern internationally recognized name for the land where Pashtun tribes have resided since ancient times. This geographic region only became a state with a political identity in the 19th century, after the establishment of the Durrani Empire by Pashtun leader Ahmed Shah Abdoli, who unified the territories that existed between the Oxus and Indus rivers at the time into a multi-ethnic state. Since ancient times, the history and culture of modern-day Afghanistan have been heavily influenced by two key geographic factors: its location and its topography. Located in the heart of Central Asia, Afghanistan's close proximity to all other regions of Asia has made it into a geopolitical fault line and buffer for competing regional powers. A historical gateway to India and China, many ancient conquerors that invaded Afghanistan from the west, such as Alexander the Great and the Arabs, or from the north, such as the Turks and Mongols, did so with India as their final destination in mind. Since the Himalayas and Arabian Sea protect the Indian subcontinent from the north and south, before sea routes were discovered, the only access to this region was through the major mountain valleys and passes running through Afghanistan. Although it's true that Afghanistan's location is responsible for turning it into a battlefield for expanding empires, its topography has simultaneously weakened imperial powers trying to gain control of this region. Afghanistan's topography is defined by plains, plateaus, and deserts in the south and west, plains that gradually slope towards the Amu Darya River and merge into Turkmenistan in the north, and rugged mountains in the center and east. This makes the north of the country the most vulnerable, while the mountains make the east the strongest, as this part of the country has always been difficult for large armies to sustain logistically. Moreover, since the plains are the most fertile areas of the country, the north and the west, which is heavily influenced by the Greater Iranian Plateau, are the most well-populated regions of Afghanistan. However, the most defining and influential topographic feature that has shaped Afghanistan's society, politics, and military history is the Hindu Kush, the 800-kilometer-long mountain range to the west of the Himalayas that passes through Afghanistan. This mountain range has served to isolate Afghan communities through both geography and climate. Separated by the Massif, communities living on opposite sides of the highlands are politically and culturally different, with the northerners having closer cultural ties with Central Asia and southerners having more commonalities with the Indian subcontinent and Iran. Additionally, with an average annual precipitation that is a third of the world's average, the communities that inhabit this region are forced to live where water is available in small areas that are spread far apart. This, in combination with the severe climate of mountainous regions, has served to produce many unique ethnic communities that have retained much of their original traditions, but which are isolated and entirely self-reliant. This is what has resulted in the formation of Afghanistan's military pluralism, the division of its military between the state and many small communities. In this way, not only has the physicality of the Hindu Kush deterred or frustrated conquerors in the past, but the number of competing communities in this region has also served to impede foreign attempts to incite mobilization, as resisting locals would use their familiarity with the geography to drive out outsiders instead. However, this lack of uniform social and political cohesion is a double-edged sword, as it has also been exploited by outside forces in the past to conquer the territory, as was the case for Alexander the Great. The Hindu Kush has also played a huge role in controlling historical, military, and trade movements through this region. Due to its location and size, armies, trade caravans, and other travelers crossing through this area were forced to pass through two distinct corridors. Large west-to-east movements had to branch off to the north and south of the Hindu Kush. On the other hand, movements between the north and south were restricted to a network of mountain passes. This in turn has swayed the outcome of many historical events, as few outside powers could maintain their hold on Afghanistan unless they controlled the Hindu Kush Pass. Given the historical influence of its geographic location and topography, Afghanistan's future can be expected to remain much of the same, a land that is heavily influenced by geopolitics and a distinct culture that's driven by military pluralism.